What was more impressive, the blue whale or the largest of sauropods? Hey everyone, Mike here with Prehistoric Magazine. Welcome back to another video. Now, this is not necessarily a video about talking about do we think sauropods could grow larger than the blue whale? Although towards the end of 2023, we started to see some papers published on that, Laramendi, and I learned about that via the Vividend. And it's kind of a fascinating topic in its own right for another video, but this video is really about, do we think that sauropods were more impressive than the blue whale, or do we think that the blue whale was more impressive than, I'm talking about the largest of sauropods, the top tier class. And as always, I appreciate all the support on this channel. I really hope you'll chime in with your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Love to hear your take on this one, but who do we think is more impressive? You know, as it stands right now, the blue whale is the largest animal that's ever existed at upwards of 200 tons. It does not appear that sauropods could approach that size. You know, it's believed that, you know, the ocean and the buoyancy is what allows the blue whale to grow to such a size. You know, buoyancy means that the water's pushing up on this enormous animal, the blue whale. So it's supporting its weight in the water. You know, it's not believable that 200 tons could live on land, but there are some that may believe that the largest of sauropods could approach those sizes. Now, we don't have any fossil record for that, kind of just theory at this point, but it does appear that the largest of sauropods could get upwards of 100 tons, if not a little bit more. Who knows, maybe even 130, 140 tons. Again, we really don't know where these animals could go. That's an enormous weight. I mean, some of these weights for the sauropods are so enormous. I think we always say, oh, a dozen elephants or this or that, but it's really hard to comprehend animals weighing that much on land. Water's one thing, land is another. And again, if you're watching this, I really want to hear from you in the comment section down below. The comment section is what has been making this channel phenomenal. Everybody chiming in, I greatly appreciate it. But, you know, who do we think is more impressive? Do we think the blue whale is a more impressive animal, or do we think the largest of sauropods, Argentinosaurus, Dreadnoughtus, things like that? You know, who do we give the tip of the hat to, the nod of the cap to, as far as who is just the more impressive animal? I don't know. You know, the easy answer would be to say, well, they're both impressive because one lives on land and one lives on water, and it's completely different, like comparing apples to oranges. So again, that'd probably be the easy answer, that they're in completely different habitats. The ocean is completely different than on land. You know, on land you have gravity pulling you down, weighing you down, your weight. You know, sauropods are believed to have had hollow bones, which allowed them to grow to those excess sizes while not having the skeletal structure be as heavy. But as we know of the giant sauropods, that those skeletal structures still were incredibly powerful for supporting the weight. You know, they had the huge pillar-sized legs to support the weight, just all of it. So hollow bones, but hollow bones that were nonetheless extremely powerful in supporting these enormous frames. Blue whales, on the other hand, are made of blubber. You know, there's no real gravity on them because they're in the water. So there's just no forces wanting to knock them over, wanting to tip them over, bring them plummeting down to the ground. So again, who do we give the tip of the cap to? I think if I'm being truthfully honest, I guess I'm going to have to go with the sauropods because they're living on land and they are bound by the laws of gravity. You know, the laws of gravity, in that you grow that big, gravity's going to want to be just tugging on you and pulling on you, and all that weight, all that pressure on your bones. To me, it just means that you are all that much more impressive of an animal to be able to live, to be able to coexist at that size, to be able to mate, reproduce, eat, feed, migrate, do all those things at these colossal sizes that we're talking about, 100 tons plus. So for me, I got to put my money on the sauropods. I'm talking about the largest class of sauropods. I think that they were just a tad bit more impressive than the blue whale. But again, that's not taking anything from the blue whale. Currently, the blue whale is the largest animal that has ever existed. Until we find something that dethrones it, it's currently the largest animal on planet Earth now, as well as in the past. So, love to hear your thoughts on this. Comment section down below. What do we think is more impressive, the blue whale or the largest of sauropods? Appreciate the support. See you in the next video. Take care.